How often do you go home as a trucker?
Twisted.
So, a lot of people are unaware of how long we actually go home as a truck driver. And the simplest way to put it is it depends if you're over the road, if you're local, if you're dedicated, and stuff like that. Like, we'll start off with this over the road driving. Now, when you're over the road driving, that's what you're gonna. Most people start as over the road because it's their foot in the door. You usually go work for one of these mega carriers, and that's your foothold in the door. That gets you to your trucking career. And whenever it comes to over the road trucking, it's going to be running coast to coast. You may not see your home state even for like an entire month. So whenever it comes to home time, you put in for your home time, and here at Prime, as a company driver, you can only put in to take home for 4 days, consecutive days. Now, you're not completely limited to that because it depends on like your relationship with your fleet manager, and a bunch of different things are involved in that. How hard have you been running for them? How much revenue's been on your truck, stuff like that. And that's going to really help your situation if you need off more than a couple days. And fleet managers, they understand, hey, you need to go home, you need to see the family. Like here at Prime, family is very important. And for the most part, I think that the fleet managers do their very best to get you home for that. Now, don't wait till like the last minute to tell your fleet manager you want to go home. Don't wait till like if you want to be home next Monday, don't wait till Friday and say, "Hey, is there any way you can get me home Monday?" Like I like to put in for my home time like at the beginning of the month. So I'll come off of home time and I'll run a week, and then I'll tell the fleet manager, "Hey, I want to be home at this on these days." And he does his best. He's what he does is he sets you a home counter. A home counter tells sales, "Hey, whenever it gets to this time period, this truck needs to be in this location so he can take home time." And that starts your routes to get you to that home time. Now, as a company driver, you get 1 day off per week you work. So if you work 2 weeks and that's it, and you think you're going to go home for 4 days, no, you got, they're only going to allow you to take 2 days off. And the reason for that is because people like to abuse the home time. Like, I know we all want to go home, we all need to go home, but people start abusing that. You're at an over the road job, like get out there and make as much money as you can. On the lease side here at Prime, you can take off pretty much almost 28 days if you needed to. I think at 28 days is the mark where they're like, "Hey, you haven't ran no Prime freight, we're going to separate you." You really don't want to come to that point. So, take and then again, it also is going to be dependent on the revenue for your truck, how much you have put in your emergency fund to cover your truck payment. Are you okay with going that negative? I mean, there's a lot of stuff involved with it because you're running your own business at that point. And if business is good and you're making tons of money and you can afford it, go home, enjoy your home time. If you're not making no money, or you're messing up on like you miss your times, or you're taking too many 34-hour resets over the road, or you won't drive to certain areas, like it's going to hinder your money, and that's going to hinder when you go home because you're going to have to, when you're lease, a lot of you guys don't even know this, but when you're lease and you're on home time, you still got to pay your truck payment. It's not like, "Hey, I'm off so I don't have to pay for the truck." No, you're under a contract to pay that payment even when you're on home time. It's every week. So make sure that you're real smart with your home time. I suggest to most of the lease guys, "Hey, don't take off 7 days at home. That is too much time. Only take off like 3 or 4 days. 4 days is plenty of time to get everything you need done, and then get back on the road." It's about making money. If you run part of a week and then you spend part of that week at home, most of your truck payments paid. And the average lease guy this is just from a lot of people that I talk to, because I always do my research to make these videos. Most of the lease people I have talked to, they go home for 7 days every 2 to 3 months. And one of the myths out there, here's a big myth for you. Company guys can't go home whenever they want to. Like us lease guys, we can go home whenever we want. Whenever it comes down to it, you're taking 7 days off every 2 months. A company guy is pretty much going to run 3 weeks out. This is kind of what I did and what I suggest to a lot of my students that go company, and a lot of my friends that are a company do this, but they stay out like 3 or 4 weeks and then they take 4 days off. So you look at it as a month kind of deal. So every 2 months, a company guy's taking 8 days off. A lease guy is running 2 months and he's taking 7 days off. Who's actually getting the more time off? And make sure you let your fleet managers know whenever you have like major events that you need off for, like say it's your kid's birthday. Let them know, hey, I need home for my birthday, my kid's birthday. It's on this date. Don't ever pin yourself where you have to be home that first day to make it to an event. So like if my kid's birthday is on, we'll say the 4th. So my kid's birthday is on the 4th. I'm not going to tell my fleet manager I need home on the 4th and then take my 4 days off, because odds are you might run into some issue. Maybe you get stuck at a shipper. Like there's a lot of stuff out of your fleet manager's hands on this. So like I always suggest, when you take home time, don't aim for that day off right there. Like don't aim for the 4th day of the month if that's your kid's birthday. Aim for like, tell them you want to take off the first day of the month. Or if you don't like that, that pretty much guarantees you're home for that. But if you don't like that, I would at least 2 days before my child's birthday is the day I'm asking off for, because that way if something happens the first day, I still make it there the day before and I'm home for that birthday party or wedding or whatever the case may be. Now, if you're having problems with like I hear it all the time, people have problems getting home. If you are always having problems with your fleet manager getting home for scheduled home time that you asked in advance for, then you need to have a talk with your fleet manager and say, hey, look, this happened this time. Keep records of this stuff. Also, you can go through your chain of command if you feel like they're just messing with you and like your fleet manager's not hearing you. Go through your chain of command and talk to his supervisor and say, hey, look, this is what's going on. And they'll probably have you all three either come to Springfield for a set down or wherever your fleet manager is, or they'll have a phone call between all three of y'all. But make sure you have your ducks in a row. Make sure that you have all the dates wrote down that he has not got you home for home time. And I understand not making it home for home time because you got a lot of stuff that could affect your home time. Loads, getting stuck somewhere at a shipper or receiver. Maybe you had a claims on a load that you had to take an extra day to get rid of that. So you missed your pre-planned load that was taking you home and they had to get you another one. Just different stuff like that. If they give you a load the opposite direction of your home time, it's not hard to pick up that cell phone and call the fleet manager and say, hey, what's up with this load? It's going the opposite way. Maybe it was a mistake. So like good communication right there will help you on that home time. But now that's OTR. Pretty much the guys on the dedicated routes, like you're going here to here. You got some locations you're going. That you can pretty much work it out where you're either home every other day or you're home every night, or you're at least taking a 34 on the weekend at home. Like you're going to be able to work with it more and be home a little bit more. Regional, it's kind of the same thing as OTR. Pretty much is you have more of an opportunity to run through your home area to take some time off. If you live off of one of these major interstates or major areas for freights or in these freight lanes, then it's a really, really easy to get you home, and you run through that area a lot, so you can get home pretty simple. Local guys, y'all are home, what you call for home time every night, which most of the time for locals, they are only home for about a 10-hour break. So if it takes you an hour to commute from work to home, you got 9 more hours, and then you got to save an hour to get back to your truck. So technically you're only home for 8 hours. You got to eat, tell the kids you love them, pet the dog, whatever, and get ready to go out the next morning, or get ready to go to bed to get some good sleep for the next morning. And typically you have like 1 day off here, 1 day off there. Maybe it's split days off, or maybe it's 2 days together, which you get a 34-hour reset to just continue working. So unfortunately, home time's a major issue here for becoming a trucker. The best thing to do is look up videos like this and educate yourself on the place that you're going, their home time, because the more you can find out before you come here, the less shocked you will be, and the more mentally prepared you will be coming into this industry. If y'all like my videos, like, comment, and subscribe, and knowledge is power.
So if you love this content that I put out on this channel, then make sure you click the next video right there. Also, if you want to check out some playlists, I have right there. Don't forget, Thursday night lives, 7 p.m. Central Time. You can come ask your own questions and answers and get all the information you want. And if you want to subscribe to this channel, then go ahead and click that face right there.